Gente, estamos aquí de vuelta. Vamos a hacer la misión principal. ¿Es hablar con alguien? ¿Hay cosas? No sé qué. Y luego vamos a hacer esta de encontrar el cadáver del cementerio del cura que mandó a... Pero yo que no puedo hacer ninguna más. Esta he conseguido, lleva una unidad de hipoclírico de sódico en la mesa. Lleva una unidad de más. Hacia a tu mesa. A tu mesa, a tu mesa, a tu mesa. Lleva un... Y yo tengo esa mierda con mi no sé qué y tal. Codeína, solución de hipoclorito sódico. Bueno, tengo un huevo. Ácido, salicinia, químico, muestra de sangre líquida, agotamiento, opio, el opio de puta madre, tetrado ferroso. Vamos a intentar hacer las misiones estas. A tu mesa. No sé a qué mesa se refiere, gente. Porque tengo como 40.000 por ahí. Y aún no he podido hablar con este tío, que está aquí ingresado. No me deja el juego. Desconocido. No sé quién es. Esencia de clavos. Vale, 15 metros, 11 metros. ¿Quién es esa tía? 5 metros, me pone que es aquí. O sea, porque... Esta no puede ser.
You are going to reveal all your secrets to me. So many deaths. Even the darkest thoughts in your heart.
My blood and soul. They belong to you now.
The life running in your veins. This dead flesh needs it.
Oh, please spare me, Dark Queen. Spare your obedient slave.
¿Para la misión? Habla con Elga Swansea. Elga Swansea.
It's locked, all right.
¿Es este Elga Swansea?
Hello again, Dr. Reid. I feel better already.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
¿No?
We'll talk again later.
¿Ya Swansea es el médico que está encerrado en la parte de arriba? Sea. ¿Será un coche que tenga vida propia? No lo sé. Creo que estaba en el pasillo, ¿no? Era una de estas. A ver, si me equivoco. A lo mejor está aquí en la lista de médicos. Doctor Tricker. No, estos no son. Vamos a coger mierda por ahí. Uy, mierda por ahí. Va a ser la mierda de solución no sé qué. Me dan cosas gratis por pasar, le robo todo. Lo que no sé qué puerta es. Bueno, tampoco sé qué mesa es la del potingue ese. Swansea, doctor Swansea, creo que es este.
Please, Jonathan, come in.
Ah, el jefe. El nombre raro ese, joder, casi hace tiempo que no...
Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
It may seem strange, but your words have brought me some comfort here.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
Este es muy happy.
I'm not some doe-eyed student, Edgar. I understand we both have something to gain from this relationship.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Vale. Carta de aviso. Estimado Dr. Swansea, debo informar de mis más días dudas de torno al caso del Dr. Toreso Trisland y Harley Friedrich. El señor Fidi ha sido hospitalizado tras un grave accidente laboral. Podría perder para siempre la movilidad del brazo si no recibe el tratamiento adecuado. El doctor Trisland asegura que un procedimiento quirúrgico podría salvar por completo el brazo del hombre, pero estoy seguro de que también podría limitar su funcionalidad drásticamente si surge alguna complicación. Nuestro joven compañero es un cirujano audaz y osado que podría llegar a ser un gran profesional con el tiempo, pero de momento carece de las habilidades necesarias para llevar a cabo un procedimiento tan arriesgado. ¿Acaso hace falta recordar los errores que cometió en el pasado? Dado que el doctor Strinla se niega a escucharme, le aconsejo encarecidamente que le prohíba llevar a cabo un experimento así de peligroso. Con todos mis respetos, el doctor Valery Aykroyd. Este era el otro, ¿no? Vale, tengo esto. Hostia, esto no lo salía. Esa nota no es para administrar el Brainworker, sino a unos viejos amigos. Desde nuestro discurso hace 2 días sobre posible ascenso de estimado Valery Aykroyd como nuevo cirujano jefe de Brainworker, acabo de llegar a la conclusión de que no beneficiaría en absoluto la actuación de intereses del centro. Vale, no me malinterprete, estoy convencido de total competencia de Aykroyd como médico, incluso me atrevería a reconocer que merece un ascenso, pero ahora no mientras todos lo luchamos por mantener a raya la epidemia. Lo que ahora mismo necesitamos es una organización jerárquica bien definida y evitar el inevitable ego frustrado derivado de su ascenso así. Necesitamos un cuerpo obediente y dedicado, incluso me atrevería a añadir que también podría resultar una buena prueba de personalidad. A veces pienso que el Dr. Aykroyd es demasiado orgulloso, demasiado dispuesto a recibir el ascenso. Afrontar una negativa podría servir para analizar su capacidad para hacer frente a la frustración. Quería conocer mi opinión y aquí la tiene. Estaría más que dispuesto a tratar todos estos temas directamente con nuestro compañero siempre que quiera que justifique mi oposición ante su posible ascenso. Vale, la perita de los dos es un minusválido. Por cierto, de aquí también tenía yo otra. Este no era. Esta no, los vampiros beben sangre, honestamente. Este podría ser el rasgo más distintivo de la siniestra peculiaridad de su condición, pero para mí no se trata de la característica más importante de su dieta. Lo que siempre me ha fascinado desde que comienza a estudiarlo es la impresiosa necesidad de sangre que parece soportar. La deseaba más que nada, y ese deseo puede llevarlo a extremo incluso de desenmascararse, y cuando la bebe parece experimentar un breve trance, una epifanía estática. Tal como me la describió una vez un búscol a que entrevisté en Moscú. Estoy convencido de que estos vampiros no beben sangre para sustantarse, sino para extasiarse. Todos los vampiros son adictos a la sangre, sin excepción. Forma parte de su naturaleza y aquella inmortal que se niegue a someterse a su apetito gracias a su fuerza de voluntad jamás superará su adicción. La develada de la noche, de un sextale primado de Sao Paulo. Yo creo que está todo, ¿no? Oye, lo tengo completito. Doctor de Toast de Trique. Se verá con el otro doctor. Le podemos sacar cosillas. Y el otro. A este no lo puedo sacar todo. Aún. Uno que ascende, otro que está manteniendo. Se está peleando entre ellos. Me vale. Vale, experiencias excepcionales de vampiro. Como estudiante, mira, te tengo otra marca. Con otro simbolito, ¿no? El 4. Esto es para desbloquear algún secretillo. Excepcionales. Especies excepcionales de vampiro. Como estudios y exegenta de escritores ancestrales, jamás dejaré de insistir en la importancia de tener en cuenta las leyendas y folclore ancestral a la hora de buscar pistas sobre secretos ocultos o perdidos. Suele cometerse el error de tomar lo que sabemos como una verdad establecida y utilizarlo para descartar cualquier mentira contradictoria. Por ejemplo, debemos considerar la posibilidad de la existencia de especies de vampiros desconocidos y la necesidad de replantearnos lo que aceptamos como la verdad absoluta sobre los distintos tipos de inmortales, basado en lo que sabemos y en lo recopilado hasta el momento. Durante cuántos siglos asumimos que vampiro era el término vulgar de la que habíamos aprendido a llamar econ. Hostia, ahora lo llaman vampiro. Me cago en la leche. Hasta el día en que 4 exploradores de la hermandad hallaron en Silveria la prueba de que los Vulcon eran una especie lupina de vampiros, siempre habíamos vinculado a esta criatura al hombre lobo mitológico. Ahora conocemos la verdad. ¿Y qué hay del resto? ¿Qué pasa con el Abrazarás de mi tierra natal? Y eso es con el Qianqing chino o el Piuchen del sur de Chile. Bah, esos bichos no me lo conozco. El licántropo sí. Son vampiros modo hombre lobo que ya hemos matado. Son hombres lobos. Por culo. Y sin siquiera abandonar la preciosa Gran Bretaña, que hay de la historia sobre mujeres con apariencia de murciélagos sobrevolando la iglesia de Saint Jean en Luon, que hay de la criatura que tan solo identificada como desastre por algún testimonio borroso que intenta destruir Londres en 1976 a propagar una plaga por toda la ciudad, que hay del Nimrod, la figura mitológica de vampiro cazador incansable, a veces descrito por los antiguos ecos británicos como un cazador legendario que solo se alimenta de la sangre de su presa y que podría pensar desapercibido tanto entre mortales como inmortales. Yo os digo, hermanos míos, que nunca podemos estar de todo seguros de lo que encontramos. Ojalá pudiera olvidar durante unos minutos todo lo que supuestamente sabemos. Develador de la noche, un satélite primero de Sao Paulo. Vale, ya tengo la guardia de pruebas. Esto lo tengo completito, estos son los secretitos, ¿no? A ver, más cosillas. Este era el mandamás. Carta de Rache cada chandana. Hospital remoto, estimado doctor Johnson, estaré encantado de administrar la morgue temporal tan pronto como habla. Como ya les dije, fui médico durante la guerra y será un placer volver a servir a mi país. Soy consciente de que es muy diferente atender a pacientes vivos que muertos, pero creo que es importante decir y brindar la mejor atención a nuestros difuntos también. Le garantizaría que me esforzarse al máximo en el desempeño de mis nuevas funciones. Respecto a la cuestión de mi título, lamento no poder ofrecerle nada más valioso que mi palabra. Lo único que puedo hacer es prometerle que el regimiento me nombró a médico durante la guerra y que salvé muchas vidas. Si mis palabras no es suficiente, puede ponerse en contacto con la administración militar para verificar mi experiencia y mis habilidades. Ellos confirmarán que, aun sin haber realizado estudios médicos, la guerra me enseñó lo que un auténtico profesional debe saber. Atentamente, Rachel Cadencia Antigua. Bueno, como va a estar con los forenses, tampoco es que sea algo muy valioso. Bien. A lo mejor le podemos sacar más cosillas a esta gente. Vamos a ver. Por aquí nada. El té tampoco puedo coger nada. Nada de nada por aquí. A ver si podemos sacarle cosillas.
Need something, Jonathan?
¿Para que me puedo hablar con él?
I have just a few questions.
Then ask away. I'm at your service, Doctor.
You mentioned something about a secret society. A brotherhood, if I recall. Could you elaborate?
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole for several years. We are pledged to monitor and report vampire activity in England as impartial scientific observers.
That explains your nightly wanderings about the docks and the questions you ask.
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led us to that part of town. There was something as yet unseen that set those chain of events in motion.
Yet you don't fear me. And still, you know the monster that lurks beneath the civilized surface.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries. We believe you are as supernatural as a lion is to a gazelle.
Coño, pero con el Leo va con un G blindado, me coleche.
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know about Pembroke Hospital?
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on. We support the community here, as well as provide health care.
Where do we stand today?
Oh, to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first wave of the Spanish flu last summer took us by surprise. We lack many of the basic necessities needed.
What do you expect of me?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier. This is a war. This white coat's still a uniform. We fight to help the poor, the sick of the East End, the forgotten.
El final del este.
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory, William Bishop, I believe, was he a vampire?
He was a skal, technically speaking. The debate rages as to their classification. Some think them a subspecies of vampire, others something else.
Ah, son los tipos de vampiro que hay, ¿no?
How do skals come into existence?
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
Hombre, va liándolo por ahí.
Just for clarity, what differences are there between myself and a skal?
A skal is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires... Now, vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
Bueno, pues no me quedó muy claro eso de ese rollo espiritual.
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires, what could you tell me about my condition and how it came about?
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings, and the penny dreadfuls. They do not scratch the surface of the truth you now find yourself in.
The sun. The morning following my transformation. Its rays burned me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Hostia, esto es muy importante mejor para la trama, ¿no? Lo de no morir aunque esté bajo.
Must I take a life to live?
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
Bueno, esa respuesta y ese luto fue un poco... Te das cuenta que nosotros todo lo que comemos viene de un ser vivo. A no ser que nos comamos virus. Que no son seres vivos. Todo lo demás que nos podemos nutrir son seres vivos. Aunque sea plantas o animales.
We'll see each other again soon, Edgar.
Yo nivel 6. Joder, cabrón. ¿No te da 60 a mí? Lo de la dificultad es por... Bueno, si me lo cargo aquí tampoco se darían cuenta. Pero la puerta... Mírala, vamos por culo. Tengo que hablar con no sé quién, pero yo quiero ir... ¿Qué mesa es? ¿A lo mejor es esta mesa de aquí? Hostia, esto se repuso.
It's locked.
Ah, no, que esto no lo tenía la llave yo, la verdad. A ver. ¿Qué mesa es, por cierto? En alguna de estas tendrá que ser. Mi mesa, dijo. Lo único que tengo así más tocha es esta. Ah, no, esta no.
Strickland's project could be dangerous. I have a mind to report him to Dr.
Hostia, ¿qué pasó? ¿Qué fabriqué? ¿Qué he fabricado? Fabriqué algo.
Ackroyd.
Vale, en principio ya esto estaría.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Como le doy agua yo. Y yo no tengo nada de agua. ¿Y si le doy sangre? Aquí no me dice nada. Vale. Ya en principio creo que tengo que tener los de estos de idiotas del médico de abajo resueltos. Tengo que subir nivel. Tengo que... Ya estoy por 4000 de experiencia. Vamos por subir más de nivel. Matando tipos por ahí. Teniendo en cuenta que se me ha reseteado la zona y todo. Era este uno, ¿no?
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reid.
Bien. Tenemos
Do you
cosas.
think Dr. Strickland has any chance of curing the Spanish flu by himself?
His wish to cure the sick is not driven by pride, but by an idealistic view about our mission here. Honestly, I don't know which is worse.
You consider him a good practitioner, yet you will not report his methods.
Strickland may be a rival, but I will not use dirty tricks or regulations to prove him wrong. We are doctors, not politicians.
Me mola. Ya tengo todo esto. Reprobar. Suspender. En español. Siempre. Vale. Lo tengo ahí,
What do you think of Dr. Tippett's opinion of your promotion, Waverley?
Tippett is a good practitioner. Maybe just a little too attached to his prestigious position at the Pembroke Hospital.
Really? That's exactly his diagnosis of you. A little too eager to get promoted? A little bit too proud?
He has the right to think so. But I deserve this promotion. And I don't consider it anything but well-earned.
Vale.
Have you heard about any blackmail going on in this hospital?
Blackmail? Nonsense.
Quita todo.
I know that you're a busy man, but I could use your help and advice.
The great Dr. Reid honors me with a request. What is it exactly?
Dr. Strickland devised an experimental drug for the Spanish flu that he asked me to manufacture.
You know what I think of fringe medical experimentation?
That's exactly why I want you to keep the result, Doctor. I made sure it won't harm anyone, but I'd like you to take care of it.
I see. Put it in my cabinet. I'll give you the key. I'll make sure no one uses this medication by mistake.
I'll do that. Thank you for your help, Dr. Ackroyd.
Thank you for your trust on the matter, Dr. Reid.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Vale, vamos a hablar ahora con el otro. A ver si aún puedo hacerle trapicheo.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reid. Can I be of any help?
Have you heard any talk of blackmail going on in the hospital?
If you're running some official inquiry, you had better question the patients. They know more than the staff, especially old Miss Jones.
Ah, no le puedo preguntar.
Tell me, Thoreau, what's the real cause of your dislike for Dr. Ackroyd?
He refuses to admit that your blood transfusion technique is the only way to save Mr. Fiddick. I'm convinced we must use it.
What Dr. Ackroyd really said is that you lack the skill to perform this operation efficiently. Is there anything you have to say about this?
It's a false conceit. Dr. Ackroyd secretly envies your reputation. His jealousy blinds him. I'm not the real target here.
Yo, por si acaso, no voy a arriesgar paciente.
Did you know Dr. Ackroyd never reported your experimental research, despite the fact he doesn't agree with it?
Really? I didn't suspect he knew about my work. I must confess I am surprised.
Perhaps he thinks you should realize for yourself the danger of what you're doing.
See how condescending he can be? My God, he can be so irritating.
Vale, pues aquí ya está todo, ¿no? En principio sí. Por lo tanto, Dani con todo descubierto. Este día me...
Dr. Strickland.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Que te calme.
My sweet girl.
Voy a hablar con el forense... ¿Forense? Con el de los muertos. Aquí, vale, aquí no. Ah, el tío que no podíamos hablar era... ¿qué? No me dejaron la misión, no me dejaba hablar, cabrón. Esta es la de las muertas aquí. Para con este idiota. Dame la llave, cabrón. Ah, pues.
Good evening, Dr. Reid. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Tell me the truth about your appointment as a medic during the war, Rakesh.
The regiment administration appointed me by mistake. I had to learn the job on the spot, sir. Very hard, sir, but I rose to the challenge.
Do you realize how many soldiers died because of that decision? You should have refused.
Yes, sir, I swear I did, sir. But no one listened. When the first wounded arrived, I had to do what I could.
It is an unbelievable story, Mr. Chidana.
It was a time beyond belief, Dr. Reid. But I'm happy not to deal with the wounded. I prefer caring for the dead now.
You can't impersonate a doctor. You can't improvise a medical education. People could die at your hands.
You're absolutely right, sir. But as a field surgeon, it was more like being a butcher.
Do you believe you have really helped these people?
My ratings were within the averages of the regiment. I saved lives, Dr. Reid. Does that not say enough about triage and war surgery?
Ahí no le puedo discutir mucho. Vamos para allá. Ah, me falta cosas de este hombre aún. Me cago en la leche.
Have you heard of someone blackmailing people in the hospital?
Pardon me, sir, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
¿Cuánto tengo yo de perra? ¿No tienes munición? Anda, que te por culo. Yo que tengo... No tengo nada tampoco. Munición. Confirma. Confirma.
Tomorrow, more bodies will arrive and...
Vale. Vamos para allá, gente. Vamos a ir hablando con la peña. Tengo que hablar con otro médico, ¿no? Para lo de los rumores.
Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Dr. Reid.
Honestamente ya tengo todo hablado, ¿no? Vale. Falta una pista. Creo que me faltan varias pistas.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
I have no time for such triviality, my dear colleague. We're here to save lives.
Vale.
Dr. Tippett.
Ahora con la enfermera que estaba para acá. ¿Dónde está la enfermera? Ahí está.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor.
Hostia, no me sale nada con esta tía. Sobre los rumores. No, no me sale nada.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Hostia, se me queda bugueado la mierda esta,
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that Cadogan fellow.
Que conchale. Hostia, lo del fijado, niño. Cuando nunca. Mira, 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 mira. Me salió lo de fijado y ahora no puedo controlar el muñeco.
Anywhere else in the East End?
Good evening, Milton.
Good.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
There are a lot of secrets round here. I'm not surprised someone tried to make money from them.
What kind of secrets?
I'm not in the gossip business, Dr. Reid. If you want to know more, you better talk to Harriet Jones. She's the oldest patient here.
¿Quién?
I'd like to see...
Wise choice.
Va, no tiene nada. Hostia, se me pilló esto. Esto cuesta 300 ya. Escopeta de Milton. ¿Voy a pillarla o voy a pillarla por ahí? Se me colo de fijado por culpa de la mierda esa. Vale, ahí está la parte de la misión.
Last summer's epidemic was different.
Con la más vieja de los pacientes era, ¿no? Ah, no. Con la enfermera de...
Hello again.
Contigo nada.
Goodbye, Mr. Hammond.
Pura hediondo. He hablado con la enfermera... Don...
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reid.
Tampoco puedo sacarte nada a ti. Lo de los medicamentos va a ser la rubia, que se lo llevaba a aquella zona. Vamos a hablar con la rubia. La rubia no, con la rusa esta. ¿Qué está dando?
Reid, may I help you?
¿Tú no hablas ya con ella?
What can you tell me about the epidemic, Nurse Crane? I've been out of touch since I've come back to England.
Everyday folk don't know how bad it is. The papers certainly won't tell them. Not as long as the war is raging on, anyway.
News on the front stated that the Spanish flu was under control, at least in Britain.
It seemed to be for a while, but that was only last summer. It returned with a vengeance just over a month ago.
What can you tell me about our patients here at Pembroke?
This hospital was founded to help the East End poor and needy. But since the war and the quarantine, we've had all manner of folk.
Can you be more specific?
Well, veterans, the elderly, dock workers. We even have a few mental patients. If there's space, we take them.
Pues una residencia.
For how long have you been working here, Nurse Crane?
I first volunteered at the Pembroke in 1911, a few months after Dr. Swansea was appointed.
And before you arrived here?
If you must know, this was my first job.
Well, Dr. Swansea certainly has confidence in your abilities. Are you in charge of the nursing staff?
Not in an official capacity, but the Pembroke doesn't always work above board, so to speak.
What about medical protocols?
Dr. Reid, we don't have the money and resources here at the Pembroke like they do in the West End. We do what we can.
How is the duty roster organized?
Everybody works until they can't. If there's time, they'll eat a meal and shed a silent tear.
Buen método. Parece que soy creador del videojuego.
I'll see you later, Nurse Crane.
Extraño. Extraño de cojones porque no sé a quién preguntarle ahora. La paciente más vieja. No sé, una de estas. Una de las pacientes más viejas. Este no va a ser, era una mujer, ¿no? La más vieja es la... ¿Qué mujer sola y esta?
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Have you heard of any blackmailing going on within these walls?
I have no time for mortal games. My secrets are beyond their comprehension, Dr. Reid.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark.
¿Esta no es? ¿Te pregunta a Tokiski? ¿Y esa es la más vieja? Me cago en la leche. Tampoco me hace puto caso. Vamos a seguir con la misión esta. Y luego tengo la misión del cadáver. Recuperar el cuerpo de Samuel, discípulo de no sé quién. Que está lleno de zombies esta zona, pero bueno, ahí vamos. Empezaré, entraré por...
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough.
¿Esa no es la vampiro entonces?
Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet lady of mercy.
¿Es una vampira que habla con aquel tío?
Good evening, Dr. Reid. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Engañando, sí. ¿De qué? No, que engañado si no le he dicho nada y simplemente se ha ido. Yo no, ahí y lo de Swain ahora no importa, ahora lo importa lo nuestro.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Sí, que le da el finiquito.
Pardon my boldness, your ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Devorar culpable. La cabrona mete.
Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
O sea, que mis preguntas son bases médicas, ¿no? ¿A quién le mandas tú una carta? O si has extorsionado últimamente a alguien que te ha puesto malito, o yo qué sé, cosas raras. Hombre, si te pones como el señor secundario vos a escribir carta con sangre, pues mira, ahí ya ahí entra la parte de vampiro y la parte de médico. O sea que...
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient or their family.
¿Quién será? ¿Quién será?
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
Nada, todo esto para que... sí. Para que le dé caña. Vale, yo como vampiro, ¿qué le puedo pedir a esta mujer vampiro? Cosas vampiriscas. Un mordisco por aquí, un mordisco por allá. Pues sí, muchas cosas.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
Yo soy su hombre.
Embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
Que ha muerto gente por la pérdida de sangre.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
Excuse my impertinence, your ladyship. This is not an interrogation. I assure you that this line of questioning is in your best interest.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reid. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition. Is our little mystery closer to being solved, Dr. Reid?
I think of nothing else, my lady.
My situation is delicate, and it occupies all my thoughts. The blackmail must stop. I need assurance.
Yo nivel 20. Sano. ¿Cómo que sano? No me pone ni la experiencia ni nada. Bueno, una vampira tampoco que sea. Ya que hombre no me puedo ni tratar. Me cago en todo. La señorita no sé quién. 19 metros, 18, 17. Esta es loca del coño, ¿no? ¿Quién es? ¿Ahora puedo entrar aquí? Hostia, ya puedo entrar aquí, gente. Ah, esto es nuevo. Señora, cuéntame.
What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reid, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reid, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Please, calm down, madam. I assure you that I am highly qualified. I'm just back from war duty.
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
You seem to know more about the goings-on here than anyone else. Beware, Miss Jones, in case suspicion should fall on you.
That's it. Blame the old and infirm. I see those little bitches' greedy little eyes. Just waiting for me to pop off they are.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
Bah, vaya cámara de mierda. Ah, no puedo girar más para allá. Me cago en todo. ¿Bueno?
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round. The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
¿Y tú qué haces aquí esperando, muchacho?
Hello again, Dr. Reid.
Nada. Esto va a ser más coñazo entonces ahora, ¿no?
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
Ah, vaya. Hablar con este. Ahí dice que hay que hablar con todos.
Evening, Doc.
Vale, sigo con los...
You heard rumors of underhand dealings in the...
If you want to know what's going on here, you better talk to Miss Jones. She knows everything. Especially what she shouldn't.
Goodbye for now.
Disgust on it.
Good evening, Mr. L.
Evening.
Goodbye for now.
Damn. The pain.
Good evening, Miss.
Here again.
I'll leave you.
Time has lost its effect on me, but the suffering continues.
Good evening, Nurse.
Good evening, Dr. Rick.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if the nurse finds some happiness where she can?
Este que se pone a chumbar ahí en medio de la...
What can you
Let me guess.
Hostia, Jennifer. Vale, vamos a hablar con este hombre entonces ahora.
She could have been
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares?
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew.
Vale.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
De 3 metros.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
No me va a decir nada nuevo, ¿no, cabrón?
Goodbye, Milton.
¿Para qué sean las enfermeras? 46 metros. A ver.
Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Esto está todo visto. Esto también está todo visto.
Do you know if any of the hospital staff have criminal backgrounds?
The people who work here all come from very different backgrounds, Doctor. Just like the patients.
Vale. Me ayuda.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Have you seen a strange...
I've never heard...
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
La experiencia, pero no me sirve por un carajo. Yo sé que la que chumba toquisque es a qué. 30 metros, 28, 27 metros.
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
Ahora ya se va el barco hasta su zona. Nosotros tenemos esta puerta que no podemos entrar. Ahora vamos a poder entrar, gente. Pero lo haremos en la próxima.
Qué manito.
Here we go.